Hello, I'm Officer Cadet Martinez Chung, and today we'll be learning 403.02, Clouds. So, clouds are divided first into two categories. First is what we call the cumulus category. This is a clouds that have rising air currents and indicate unstable air. And as opposed to that, we have the stratus category, which are horizontal layers and usually indicate stable air. So in this case, the difference between unstable and stable air is that stable air, when disturbed, so pushed by, let's say, an updraft, stable air will have a tendency to return to its original position. It is stable. Whereas unstable air, let's say it gets hit by an updraft, it will just keep going. It is unstable. So we have further divisions of clouds, in this case with respect to their altitudes. So first we have the low clouds. So the low clouds are preceded by the prefix strato. They range from surface to 6,500 feet. However, for the purpose of this course, you do not need to memorize these numbers, but do remember the prefixes. Middle clouds occur after that, from 6,500 feet all the way to 23,000 feet. They have the prefix alto. Then finally we have high clouds, which go from 16,500 feet all the way to 45,000 feet. And they have the prefix cirro. Notice how there's a little bit of overlap there? Again, it really depends on the conditions of how it actually forms. Now we do have a fourth type of cloud. These are clouds of vertical developments. So these tend to form at the lowest at 1,500 feet. And they can go anywhere from there. They can be from 2,000 all the way to the stratosphere. Alright, high clouds. So this is a cirrus cloud. So what a cirrus cloud is, they're thin, delicate wisps, kind of like little whiskers. Notice that the name also has an abbreviation right next to it, CI. It is a good idea to remember these because these will come up once we start to get into weather reports. So make sure you remember. Cirrus is CI. Next is CIRRO-CUMULUS with the abbreviation CC. These are thin cotton ball-like. So more kind of like, scales. There we go. Scales from a fish. Kind of like scales like mackerel kind of sky. CIRRO-STRATUS. So the CIRRO-STRATUS cloud with the abbreviation CS is a thin, very high sheet. The thing that sets it apart from other clouds is it produces a halo effect, as you can see in the picture right here. This is due to the moisture found inside of the cloud. This cloud often indicates the approaching of a warm front, which will be discussed further in future lessons. Middle clouds. ALTOCUMULUS clouds. So ALTOCUMULUS clouds with the abbreviation AC are usually layers of round masses of clouds. So kind of puffy clouds. Middle altitude. ALTOSTRATUS clouds. Now, ALTOSTRATUS clouds, they are thick gray clouds that often cover the entire sky. So they tend to be dark and gloomy. And they also may give some light rain or snow. Next we have ALTOCUMULUS castellanus. So ALTOCUMULUS castellanus with the abbreviation ACC is an ALTOCUMULUS cloud, so small and puffy, but with a turreted appearance. So what it looks like is, if you can see, it's kind of hard to tell in the picture, but think of it like a cloud that has a bunch of turrets just popping out every now and then, kind of like a castle. And it's usually indicative of turbulent air and much more dramatic weather. Alright, now onto low clouds. First we have the stratus cloud. The stratus cloud, with the abbreviation ST, is a uniform layer, like fog, but not quite resting on the ground. And it tends to be another really dark and gloomy type of cloud. And drizzle often falls from stratus cloud. So notice it's only stratus Right? There is no such thing as a strato-stratus cloud. It's just stratus. Stratus-fractus. So what a stratus-fractus cloud is, with abbreviation SF, is think of a little piece of stratus cloud. So take a stratus cloud and kind of shove it up into little pieces. That's stratus-fractus. And next we have CIRRO-CUMULUS. So these are a thin layer of rounded masses of cloud. So relatively low, kind of poofy looking clouds. NIMBOSTRATUS, abbreviation NS, is a low layer of uniform dark gray cloud. Notice the prefix nimbo. The nimbo indicates that it is a rain cloud. Therefore, you will have precipitation from this cloud. Now, clouds of vertical development. Let's start off with the cumulus cloud, with abbreviation CU. So, cumulus clouds are thick, rounded, and lumpy. They resemble cotton balls. So this is more like the kind of clouds we all used to draw back in kindergarten. They're not big and poofy and friendly looking, though they're actually not that friendly. Next we have cumulus fractus, abbreviation CF. Cumulus fractus clouds, they think of again a cumulus cloud and just shove it up into little pieces. That's a cumulus fractus cloud. Usually it's the wind that does all the shoving up, by the way. Next is towering cumulus. So, a towering cumulus is a really dramatic cumulus cloud, essentially. So, what is happening is, in a towering cumulus, you have a lot of updrafts from the bottom, and then it starts. And remember, the air is unstable, so it just starts to build, and just keeps going and going, and it builds into a very, very tall mass, essentially. There's a lot of rough air underneath and heavy icing in the cloud. You should not fly anywhere near this cloud. And finally, and the more dramatic, is the cumulonimbus. So this is essentially a towering cumulus on drugs. So this cloud, with the abbreviation CB, has, for one, it has an anvil top. So that's one of the defining characteristics of a cumulonimbus cloud. You will notice it has an anvil top. So, the reason this is because at that point the cloud has actually hit the stratosphere. And if you remember from previous meteorology lessons, in the stratosphere there's a temperature inversion. So, the higher you go in the stratosphere, the temperature actually increases. Therefore, the cloud can't grow past that because it is too hot for cloud to condense, essentially. Okay? So, there's going to be violent vertical currents through here. And this should be avoided by all aircraft. This is a really dramatic storm cloud. Do not fly anywhere near it. Alright, so clouds of vertical development, again, their bases can be as low as 1,500 feet, and as we just saw, it can go all the way up to the stratosphere. They are composed of water droplets, supercooled water droplets, and ice crystals. So what supercooled water droplets are is, they look like water droplets. They really look like water droplets, but as soon as they hit your aircraft, they immediately freeze. So in essence, the actual physics or chemistry behind it is the combination of things like pressure, temperature, volume. They combine such that the water is below zero, but it is still in liquid form. So again, when it strikes the wing, then it immediately turns to ice. And you don't want that, trust me. Alrighty, that's all folks. So, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, queries, or random outbursts, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and happy landings!